Hey there, Colleen here, DIYer behind LoveandThistle.com, and today I am so excited to be teaming back up with my friend Alexis from Persialoo for another Silhouette vs Cricut challenge. In this video, we are going to be answering one of the questions that I get the most as somebody who uses the Cricut, and that is, what can I actually make with a Cricut? If you've recently gotten a Cricut, maybe you got one for the holidays and now you're like, okay, I have made cards for everybody I know. What else can I do with this thing? Then this video is going to give you some great ideas. Before we get into it, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that below so you don't miss out on any more DIY or home decor videos. So the way that this Silhouette vs Cricut series works is I will go ahead and I will cover this video from a Cricut standpoint. So I'm talking all about Cricut machines and what you can make with your Cricut machines. And my friend Alexis from Persialoo is going to cover this from the Silhouette standpoint. So everything that you can make with the Silhouette. Now, if you've watched our videos before, you will know that the Cricut and the Silhouette are pretty similar in what they can and cannot do. If you have one machine over the other, or if you're kind of looking for the difference between the machines, these videos are a great way to just get differing views on one topic. If you are looking for a more in-depth which machine does what, I will link that video below. But for the purpose of this video, let's just talk about all of the options out there for you of projects that you can make with your Cricut. So I'm going to highlight my favorite ones to make, the ones that I use my Cricut for the most personally and for the blog. And I'm also going to link some of my friends' projects because some of my friends do amazing things with Cricut that I haven't even checked out yet. So let's dig in. Let's start with some of the most basic projects that you can do using the fine point blade, which is the basic blade that comes with all Cricut machines. So with this blade, you can cut cardstock, so you can make awesome cards, you can make decorations. I have used this fine point blade with cardstock to make tons of party decorations. I love to use my Cricut when it is party time. It is the fastest and easiest way to make beautifully professional looking decorations so quickly, and you can get exactly what you want totally custom. So for example, here is a cake topper that I made using the fine point blade and cardstock. So if you are interested in cards, Cricuts are also really great for cutting out card and scrapbooking materials, and the Cricut Joy is made with cards in mind. So it comes with a special mat so that you can cut out cards. Using your Cricut with cardstock is also super helpful when it comes to holidays. So for example, Valentine's Day cards, you can make some super fun Valentine's cards using your Cricut. You can make fun little birthday invitations or bunting for Valentine's Day, cut out a million 4-leaf clovers for St. Patrick's Day, or teeny tiny spiders out of cardstock for Halloween. The other thing that I really like to cut out with cardstock is envelopes. They make great tiny envelopes for gift cards or cards, and you can make them out of any patterned paper that you like. Also with the fine point blade, you can cut out pretty much any type of vinyl. So regular adhesive vinyl is what you've probably seen for wall decals. So you can cut out wall decals with that, and you can add that regular removable adhesive vinyl to the wall, to your laptop, to, pretty much anything. I tend not to use the removable vinyl as much as I use the permanent adhesive vinyl. The removable vinyl would be great for something like a wall or like party decorations where you don't need it to stick forever. But most of the time, if I am making a design and I want it to stay on there, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use the permanent or outdoor rated vinyl. I use that to make mugs. You can use that to make tumblers. I also use the permanent adhesive vinyl for labels on melamine drawers. I find that they hold up really well even with our kids picking at them. And if you do want to remove them, you can just apply heat with like a hair dryer and then peel them off with no problems. The other kind of vinyl that I use quite often is heat transfer vinyl or iron-on vinyl, and that is a vinyl that is applied to fabric or wood or paper or canvas or whatever using heat so that it will adhere and kind of like melts the adhesive onto the fabric or the surface that you are using to make it a little bit more permanent. So for this, I of course love to make shirts. I love to make decals for backpacks. I like to make tote bags and wall flags. Wall flags is something that I make often for room makeovers. I really love the way that these look, how they add a big impact and texture to the space. And particularly, I like to incorporate my hand lettering on these, but you can of course use fonts as well. On a smaller scale, I like to make these little wall hangings here. That's something that I made and sold a whole bunch of for the holidays a couple years ago, and they're totally fun to make and really easy. You can also use it on canvas, and you can use it on wood. I love to make wood signs with iron-on vinyl. It gives not quite a shiny finish like the regular adhesive vinyl or the permanent adhesive vinyl does. It looks a little bit more natural and a little bit more like paint without actually getting out the paint. I have a full video about using iron-on with wood, so I will link that below. I also used that same technique when I was making these cute little garden markers on bamboo plant picks. All right, so that is heat transfer vinyl. Now there is a ton of different varieties of both adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl, from holographic to glitter to flocked heat transfer vinyl, like patterns, metallic, foil colors. I mean, there is an endless variety of different types of adhesive and heat transfer vinyl, and you can make any of these projects with them. Speaking of wall decor and signs, the other way that you could make wooden signs is by cutting out stencils with your Cricut. Now, Cricut does have stencil vinyl, which works really well for stenciling signs. You can see how I did that here for kind of a chalk board effect. All right, Cricut also has an option called Print Then Cut. So you print out the design from Cricut Design Space on your printer, and then you feed it through your Cricut, and it has different markings on it so that it lines up and it cuts out the design that you've printed on your printer. So you can use Cricut to print then cut to make your own stickers. So you can do that with material that lasts a little bit longer. You can just use that with general sticker paper and make planner stickers. The options are endless here. If you are interested in Cricut Print Then Cut, I do have a full video talking all about that feature and how you can use it. I will link that below. All right, so that is kind of the fine point blade materials. And then you have the deep cut blade materials. And so the deep cut blade can be used with a couple of the different machines, but you can cut things like magnet sheets to make your own magnets. You can cut chipboard, you can cut bigger cardstock that kind of frays with the fine point blade. You can cut craft foam. You can cut, the material that you make stamps with. You can cut cork. I've cut leather. There's lots of different things that you can cut with a deep cut blade. But if you have the Cricut Maker, then you have even more options. Okay, so once you put the Cricut knife blade on, the options. You can cut really thick leather. You can cut thinner woods to make different things like these cute little Christmas trees I made for this tablescape. You can cut wood like I did for this address sign that I made for the front of my house. I love cutting wood because I love home decor projects, and I feel like this really opens up a ton of options for me as a DIYer. So that is mostly how I use the Cricut Maker knife blade, but there are so many options. There's also a rotary blade that you can switch in, and that one cuts fabric beautifully. You can see that I use that here. It also cuts leather better than some of the other blades. So there's lots of different things that you can do as far as cutting fabric as well. I also like to cut felt, and I find cutting felt for things like Halloween masks. So the Cricut machines can also draw. You can pop a pen in here and use the Cricut Draw function. My favorite thing to use the Cricut Draw function for is to address envelopes or Valentine's Day cards or anything that you'd like to look handwritten as compared to printed on your printer. Cricut also has a ton of different crafting blades and tips that you can get for your machine. So this one here is an embossing tool. It heats up and it transfers the gold foil onto your project. Or you can get an engraving tip, which actually engraves things like acrylic or metal. You can see these cool keychains that my friend Heidi made right here, and you can see these bracelets that my friend Corey made here. If you're into card making, there is also perforation blades, embossing blades, debossing, wavy cut blades. There are so many different blades that are available for the machines now. If you are into paper crafting, that's definitely interesting to look at. Other than that, Cricut has also really gotten into Infusible Ink. So Infusible Ink is kind of like an up-leveled heat transfer vinyl. It's not really vinyl at all. It infuses the ink onto the blanks. Now you have to get specific blanks to do this with, but the options are so cool and the patterns that you can get from these and the lasting ability of these projects are really incredible. So I've only really played with t-shirt blanks and tote blanks with Infusible Ink, but you can also now get mugs with Infusible Ink, and there's different mug presses and heat presses shaped that you want to make and sell. So if you are into that, I'm going to link some great resources from my friends. All right, so those are a bunch of the options of things that you can use your Cricut for. Again, I really stick to using it for the basic materials the most. I love to make iron-on signs and t-shirts. I like to use cardstock for party decorations and gift tags. I like to cut the thin wood when it comes to making place cards, plant markers, and little wood details. And beyond that, I mean, I don't use my Cricut to make and sell stuff, so this has been more than enough for me, but there is definitely endless opportunities to make things with your Cricut. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you have some new ideas or you're excited to try some new projects. If you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more DIY or home decor videos. And if you would like to see this from the Silhouette side of things, you can click over and see my friend Alexis's video from Persialoo. She's covering Silhouette, everything you can make with Silhouette. If you have topic ideas for our next Silhouette versus Cricut video in the series, make sure to pop those in the comments below. We'll see you next time.